I am originally from Lebanon, and I traveled to Paris for a couple of years initially before coming to the U.S. And then I came and I started here in high school. And I chose medicine really after becoming a pharmacist. I initially went on to being a pharmacist and practiced for a couple of years, and then the passion for medicine was apparent. And I knew all along that I was going to be an internist because it really puts together the expertise that you learn in pharmacy, and you really get to apply what you know with patients. The inspiration in my life to become a physician was really what I imagined to be the ideal physician. He was the village physician, the only physician in the village back home, and he was the person everyone turned to for any and every problem. And I think he stayed in the back of my mind all the way. I've been in practice since 2003, and the practice that I started in had actually been established in 1950 by Dr. Sid Chapin, who was one of the original founding physicians of the Dearborn Hospital for Oakwood. And then I took over the physician that succeeded him, who was Dr. Dunn. When I began my practice, medicine was more simple than it is today, with relations to contracting and what was expected of the physician from a regulatory sense. Medicine today has a lot of more pressure on the primary care physician than it does before. And it really, you can see more and more primary care physicians just getting less and less time than they used to with patients, and less than what they want. So the contributing factor to the time element is really the pressure that the physician has for all the people that they need to get in to see him that day. The waiting times that patients have. Really, physicians don't want patients to wait that long. And there's a lot of pressure and overhead on private practicing physicians right now. And it seems like it is becoming more of an epidemic that private practice physicians retire, enter into employment, get acquired, and that's something that I personally I'm trying to prevent. I've been thinking about this for the past 2 years. I've been trying to think of a solution to this. What I see is somewhat of a barrier that allows you to fully practice the way you want to practice with patients. And that would be the primary reason that I would like to see that change, is to really hold on to those core values of personalized medicine that I've always imagined, that trust factor between you and the patient, and that relationship factor. I want to preserve that. I don't want medicine to become a robotic processing type of a operation. I want to try to preserve that trust factor and that relationship factor. That really, the change that I'm looking at is really keeping that personalized element. So I think that the patients that really have a very strong relationship with me are going to see that they're going to keep that and allow to preserve that relationship and build on it. We're not going to have as much time pressure as we do now. And the factors that really get in the way of practicing the full spectrum of things that you would like: telemedicine, virtual consults, full nutrition assessment and wellness. We will be able to go into the entire realm of what we'd like without any restriction. So these changes will preserve me in practicing medicine longer by basically really removing removing these current pressures. Members will basically become a core element that you would dedicate all your time to, and you are going to have more time for them. So what I would consider saying to a new patient that is considered joining is that this is the future of medicine. This is something revolutionary, in my opinion. After seeing all the changes in medicine, it is very refreshing to see personalized medicine and membership medicine come and preserve the old-fashioned way of practicing. And I think that they would really have, as a new patient, they would have a very difficult time comparing this to any other traditional practice. Because most physicians that are in practice right now will really tell them the same thing, that they are very pressured and they have a very restricted schedule. Membership medicine really eliminates those barriers and really lets you open up to the patient and give them more attention that you would like to give them. When asking me about how time and relationship affects the outcome with a patient, the first patient that comes to my mind is really this fantastic lady who is very smart, at the same time knows exactly what she wants and what she doesn't want. And it came a time where we had been discussing a screening colonoscopy for a number of years. And she had full trust in me. And she would tell me, "Doc, I really, ask me for any other test, I will do it. I don't want to do a colonoscopy." And we spoke about it at more than one annual examination. And finally, there was a year where I said to her, "You know, I think you have full trust in me. I really would like you to go through with this." And after really spending a lot of time with her and going through, and really that relationship that we had, I think finally impacted her to the point to where she said, "You know, I will go ahead and go through with it." And we really were able to diagnose, to my surprise as well, an early stage colon cancer. And fortunately enough for her, I was able to really get her through to a surgeon and get her to have a resection. And this was localized disease. She didn't require any chemotherapy. Her quality of life is preserved. She is active and traveling and enjoying her family the same as she was before. And her family, to this day, every single one of them cannot thank me enough, and brings up on numerous occasions throughout the year the fact that they get to enjoy their mother because of that screening colonoscopy that we ended up doing. And I think that's a small example in terms of screening and wellness that really drives home the message with patients that you really have to have that relationship with your physician. You really have to have it when you're healthy, and let them really guide you. And you will realize the benefits of what we're discussing after you really go through an experience where you have a prevention, or it could be just improvement of your current condition. That relationship really goes a long way. It makes a big difference when you're going to a practice and you have a strong relationship with that physician, compared to a practice that has a random number of physicians that you really don't know who you're going to get. Medicine is not robotic, and medicine is not an operation that's like anything else. Medicine depends a lot on that relationship with your physician. To conclude, I think my final message to the patients is that I've really tried to make sure that all patients are covered that I've ever encountered. Whether a patient decides to go through the membership medicine with me and we end up continuing that, or whether they end up with choosing another option with another physician in the practice, I think that I've made sure that all patients are taken care of. I look forward to this. to really preserve and improve. And I think it is I think it's really rejuvenating to have a way of practicing to sustain and to continue what I've always wanted to.